Hey, hello everyone, welcome back to a special episode of Fire Emblem and Sacred Stone's Lunatic mode. Today is the day that our routes split raisins. Well, the game routes, not us. You're gonna be here with me. How are you doing?
Yeah, that's right. We're just along for the ride. We actually got a pretty nice, hacked ROM from, I don't know, you'll have to tell me again who did it.
Yeah, it was
But
Blawmaster who made it. This I showed this at the end of the last episode, but for those of you who missed it or didn't see the ending, shame on you, by the way. He hit me up when I was around like chapter 6 or 7, and he said, hey, I made this thing that you said you were going to do manually into an actual thing. But instead of talking about it, why don't you just like show it off again a little bit for what it is? But basically, you know that how I said at the beginning of the Let's Play, I would do a Radiant Dawn style route split? Well, he put that in the game, and now we can just choose who goes with Erica, and everyone else will go with Ephraim. Let me go through a new journey real quick, because this is where it's all set up. So the way this is going to work is that I'll get to choose who goes where. Then we'll play Ephraim route first, because that's the way it's been implemented. And then once Ephraim route is done with chapter 14, which is the chapter where he sees the capital, we'll go on to Erica's route, which is, again, chapter 9, but Erica. We go through all of Erica routes. And then we end up combining our forces in chapter 15, Scorched Sand, the desert chapter. Normally in that chapter, you either start with Ephraim's whole army, and then Erica comes in with Inez and Saleh, or you go to Erica's perspective, you have the whole army there. And then a couple turns later, Ephraim comes in with Dusel and Null. And the way this one works is you just get all the characters that you picked in both sides. So our army will actually be divided, kind of like, you'd think it should be.
It's a huge, massive Scorched Sand thing, right?
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to play that chapter this time. Of course, this does mean that there's a couple of technical explanations and rules and things I have to explain. So let me just quickly get to this choice. So normally this says choose who you want to go with, Erica and Ephraim, but we're going to go with Erica first, and I get to pick the characters, which is going to be a huge meta decision.
Chapter 8X. Wow.
Yes, yeah, they just threw a guidance chapter in there. So thank you so much to Blawmaster for implementing this, and thanks to Retina for helping fix something that wasn't working out. So explained how the order works, but let me get into the specifics before we go into dividing the actual characters. Obviously, there are some characters that appear between chapters 9 and 15 in both routes, and I was planning on having these characters just choose one route for myself, just like I'm doing with the pre-chapter 8 characters. But the way the chapters are implemented, I kind of they have to appear in one side and not the other. That's the easier way to do it. And those decisions have been made already by Blawmaster, but they kind of align with the way I was going to do mine, with maybe one or two exceptions. So I just have to work around that. I could have been really difficult about it. It's like, this free super cool thing you gave me could have been like much better if you did this. I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just going to work with what I've got. So we're going to build the teams around those restrictions. If a character appears in both routes, say for example Amelia, she'll appear in one route and then the other one will just be a generic recruit. And same goes for like Marissa and Garrick. Actually, no, I think now Garrick has been removed from Ephraim route, for example, because he's a playable character. But if they're an enemy, then they've been replaced by a generic. The items, probably good to mention here as well, because I know Raisins...
I was going to ask about
Yeah.
those.
I didn't tell any of this to Raisins beforehand, so he can ask me stuff that I couldn't think of as like a first-time person hearing this. So if there's anything you're wondering about, chances are Raisins is wondering it too, and he'll ask it.
Yeah, because the items, our original plan when we were just going to implement it ourselves was actually to stuff everything in convoy, and then we basically get like duplicate items.
Yes.
Right? When we go out. And I assume that's not what happens in this kind of ROM hack?
No. No, it turns out the easiest way to implement this was to just share the convoy between Erica and Ephraim. So what will happen is we'll have access to the items that characters have on them, as well as the convoy on Ephraim route first. And then at the end of Ephraim route, theoretically you could dump everything into convoy, and then Erica would be able to use it in her route, and then she could dump everything into convoy again. And then from chapter 15 onwards, everything will be placed on Ephraim's perspective again, and he'd be having the convoy. So you could do that, but it would no longer duplicate items. What it would do is you could use these stat boosters on either route if you wanted to. So let's say I wanted the guiding ring we have on a unit that's on Ephraim route. I could just use it right now, then Erica wouldn't have it. Or I could not use it, keep it in convoy, and then Erica could use it afterwards if I wanted to. This does mean that every item you obtain on both routes, there's like a hero crest on both routes or something. I would have 2 hero crests where in a normal playthrough you would have 1. So that's the kind of balance that we have to walk with items. But I think generally this is more fair than duplicate items, so I'm glad this problem was solved for me. I was looking forward to using 2 angelic robes effectively, because the way I saw it is I'm just playing the game twice with 2 different teams, and they both benefit from resources, and it didn't feel that unfair, but this feels way more balanced. So does that answer your questions about convoy and items?
Yeah, it's like kind of a middle ground, because I too was kind of worried, like, oh, we're just gonna get like 2 ocean seals and 2 guiding rings and 2 angelic robes and whatnot. Not like worried. I still feel like the game and the run through would have been like really fun if we'd done that, but it was my question. So now that I know, like, we go through literally all of Ephraim route, and then I guess like convoy gets moved over to Erica's, so we do still get like all the promotion items of both. Like, we do still get 2 routes worth of promotion items, right?
Yes.
And 2 routes worth of EXP, but we
Yes.
also have 2 routes worth of characters to promote, so
Yes.
I feel like this is pretty fair.
Yeah, I think overall it'd be a little tighter because the game expects you to have something like the Chapter 5 Guiding Ring, or I can the Night Crest from Chapter 7. Like, stuff like that I only have once, so it'll be a little harder than normally, I think, actually. Plus, we might not get Dussel's Night Crest due to the NPCs just dying to lunatic enemies. So
Oh yeah, no,
I
they're just,
it'll be surprisingly tough.
get wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a bit of a shame.
Yeah. I think I've gone over most of the things that the hack changes, so how about we get into dividing units, and then if there's anything else that comes up, anything that comes into your mind, Raisins, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Right, so this is the way that the route split is right now. This is the plan I have. It's not permanent, we can still discuss things, but some of them, like I said, the post-Chapter 8 characters are set in stone. So the way that Blawmasters decided this is, if a character is significant in the story of FE8 on one route but not the other, then they're going to the first route, the one where their story relevant. Other than that, he kind of did it with like a bit of balancing in mind, making sure both routes have roughly equal characters. They're uneven, so they can't be exactly equal, but roughly equal. And then just kind of divided them in a way that made sense, both gameplay and story-wise in the end. So this is the compromise that he ended up coming to. So going over them real quick, Inez is more significant in Erica routes. He has like a whole thing where he gets stuck in, I think the country's called like Carcino or something, with
Yeah,
Garrick
right.
and Tethys, and Marissa's there. So that whole group is over there. Saleh and Ewan have that whole thing on Kerpalin, I think it's called.
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah, where Mur is from. So they're there. This was all in the plans, I think, that I was gonna do before I learned I was gonna have, an actual implementation of my idea. And the one that stands out here is Cormag, because I was definitely gonna put him on Ephraim route. He joins way earlier, first of all. He joins in Chapter 10 instead of the end of Chapter 13. So a massive difference. And I thought Ephraim would appreciate the extra flyer more, because we have 2 Pegasi and 1 Cormag. Blawmaster did this because he is a big fan of Cormag's whole arc with Glenn and Falter, and he didn't want that to be lost, and so, Cormag is here. So Cormag is going to be an Erica route, we have to live with it. He's really good, he just joins kind of late, so that's why Erica might need a little bit of help, and Ephraim needs a little bit more help now that Cormag is gone. So that's what I've planned everything else around. Tana and Amelia both have like conversations with Geb that are kind of story important, so they're there. Plus, Ephraim is already out of Cormag, so he kind of wants a flyer. So that balances that out. Amelia, like I said, has a thing with Geb. Dussel obviously is very Ephraim. And then, at that point, Ephraim has 3 characters to Erica's 7, so La Rochelle's group just goes with Ephraim. They gotta go together because they're traveling together. It only makes sense that La Rochelle's there. So we'll have to deal with La Rochelle on the Phantom ship, and La Rochelle will not be there in Chapter 11 of Erica route, for example. So that's the post.
Yeah, part of me
Chapter
wanted
8.
to make La Rochelle like on Erica's route just for gameplay reasons, because if we don't have to care about La Rochelle, right, then we can just like turtle on the boat.
Yeah,
and
true.
There's no consequence to it. But
True. Maybe this is for the better, for the excitement of the playthrough.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think what was I going to say about her? Oh yeah, I think Blawmaster thought she was more relevant on Erica route story-wise, but again, Erica already has a massive influx of characters from her story, so you gotta do what you gotta do. And
Or La Rochelle, I don't remember.
yeah,
it's I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? So like, yeah, these guys might have, or La Rochelle might have had like one more scene of story relevance in Erica route, but I mean, I guess she's here. Like, also both her and Tana are like romance interests for Ephraim, so I guess it kind of makes sense to have them on the route. like they have that story relevance in the sense that they're connected to Ephraim in that way, right? So, and then furthermore, Amelia and Dusel, it's like kind of obvious, like they're from Grotto. Maybe we should recruit them on the way to Grotto.
Yeah.
So,
definitely. Okay, so
and then
sorry, go ahead.
Enough about that. What about our choice characters, right?
Yes. So again, this is the plan I just made. It's still up for discussion right here, but this is what I'm using as a starting point. So I already did an Eric on Seth support, which kind of tipped off everyone, including Raisins, that I thought Seth was best on Erica route. You could go either way. You could argue Ephraim route is harder, whereas Erica route is more easy, so it doesn't need it less. But I would never want to play Chapter 9 Erica route without Seth there to help rush the village with the pirate. I think that's a big part of how the chapter plays. So I wanted to have Seth there. And then the advantage to Seth, I guess, is also that if you put him on a route, you can be kind of lax with everyone else you put on a route, because he can theoretically carry everything by himself until other people are ready to rise to the occasion. So that's like a very pivotal piece. Like if Raisins disagrees with where Seth goes, I feel like everyone else has to shift around a bit as well.
Like the whole team, he's by far the most impactful.
Yeah, and then the other reason I wanted Seth on Erica route is because Ephraim gets Dusel, who is the closest thing we have to Seth post route split. So this way I thought I could keep them both balanced a little bit. And from there, it gets a lot more simple. We have 2 healers, 1 on each route. I decided Natasha goes with Erica. It doesn't really matter. If I want to do like the Joshua, Natasha support, I can switch them around. I don't really care too much. One reason, I guess, to put Natasha there, where she is because Mulder might need a guiding ring sooner if we want to have her promoted Archer. So this way the guiding rings are more evenly distributed. I don't even remember when you get like... I think Erica might even get more guiding rings. I don't know. We'll discuss that if it comes up. But yeah, just divided the healers equally. Divided my mages equally, Artur and Loot. I replayed Chapter 8. I don't think I mentioned that yet. And Artur got even better levels than last time. He's like 15 speed right now. So he's pretty good right now. And I think he'll help Erica in like the slightly more monsters that she faces. But the difference is not exactly massive. Loot is still
it's like
fun.
half a map worth of extra monsters essentially that Erica faces.
Yes. Callan Ford, I thought in this case it was time to cut Ephraim some slack because he's been getting the better character, or he's been getting like the, how do you say, he doesn't have Seth. He doesn't have Seth.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have Ardor, so I just gave him Kyle, thinking, okay, Ephraim at this point needs some help, so I give him a better Cavalier between the two. I mean, Ford is trash, Kyle is slightly better, so we'll go with Kyle here. And then Ross is kind of the last character that I've been actively training from pre-route split. I threw him on Erica because there are some like peak maps and water walking maps where I think Ross as a pirate can be relevant. If Ephraim ever needs like an extra random axe user for something, I guess Garcia's there, but I don't expect him to be deployed a whole lot in favor of the post-Chapter 8 characters, but he is there, I guess. And then the rest of them are more like fillery characters. I guess Joshua is technically a combat character. Again, I think Ephraim needs a little bit more help in combat. Joshua's pretty good combat at base. I can think of like a couple maps where having him kill a bunch of fighters might be helpful. Plus, Ephraim is just kind of lacking in swords right now. Like, Kyle uses swords and List and Dusel, I guess. So just having a sword specialized character makes a bit of sense. Whereas Erica has Seth working on S-rank swords, and Erica herself, who's like Joshua but better right now. So I thought Joshua made sense on Ephraim route. Bronze exists, but Erica already has Ford, so I feel like Bronze makes sense on the other one. Gilliam isn't really being used. Colm as a thief can go either way, but fortunately, Blahmaster added door keys and chest keys to the prep shop in case we do absolutely need them. Renak comes way too late for some chests. I don't think Ephraim even has chests before Renak joins, if I'm not wrong. Oh, actually, Chapter 9.
Chapter 9, that's it, though.
Yeah, there's I think you're like short 1 or 2 chest keys in that chapter if you don't have any, so... Colm will be there, or Colm will be an Erica route, and then we have doors and chest keys for that one. Because the game obviously isn't balanced with the fact that you might not have a thief. And then Nami, I just put her where Colm was. So those are my choices. So feel free to let me know in the comments how you would do it differently. And Raisins, what are your first concerns looking at these lists?
Yeah, I think the whole fact that you have to kind of put Colm on the route that doesn't have Renak, I think just makes more sense, right? Like,
well, I don't think Renak factors into it, right? Because Renak is like Chapter 14 in both routes.
Well, that's still like where the bulk of the chests are, right? So
true.
Important to kind of consider. And I do know that like the door key and chest key in prep shop is pretty nice too. I do know like Erica route, the moment you complete Chapter 9, you actually have a chest key vendor.
Yeah.
Like on that in case you want to buy from there. And I think you don't need any like door keys to complete outside of the ones that drop in order to complete the game. But I'm still really like grateful we have this specifically for Chapter 9 Ephraim.
Yeah,
Since we're going into that map.
I should probably mention, now that you say it, I'm tempted to move Colm over just so I can be more natural to the game, but then I remembered that I can only have 8 characters on Erica route, 8 characters on Ephraim route, or like I think Ephraim can take 9, but the preps menu has 8 characters in there that you can pick max, so I probably have to do some moving. I could like trade Colm with Gilliam if I really wanted to, but I don't think it matters.
Yeah, no, and like maybe you want to maintain this Colm Nimi support.
Yeah.
I do say that this no, seriously, like I think we might want to. I do say Ephraim's route does look like a little bit low on combat power right now. Like I'm looking at it, I'm trying to think like who's like the really strong combat unit. And to be honest, it's like Ephraim, and then maybe the next one is Vanessa or Joshua. To be honest, like I know we have Kyle, but you know, Kyle's kind of working on like getting his stats up at the moment, whereas Joshua, like I think, is a unit who's reliably doubling when the rest of the team isn't.
Yeah.
So, well, I do kind of
actually
know like we tacked on Joshua as an afterthought, but maybe he's like actually one of the better units in Ephraim route.
Yeah, looking at it now, I actually don't think I should have put Vanessa with Ephraim even, because Erica right now just doesn't have a flyer until Cormac, and she needs one for Chapter 9. So what we might want to do then is maybe swap Vanessa with a combat unit from Erica. Because Vanessa's a combat unit, but like a good one. But then who would that be? Because I don't know, it's not like we want Arthur on there or anything, or Ford. Like, yeah,
the Nimi Colm duo, like they have a support, but does that really count as combat, right? Like how high level are both of these people?
Not really, but like neither of them are trained either. So are you saying like, because I could swap Vanessa with Colm or Nimi, but it doesn't solve the problem that Ephraim is low on combat, right?
Yeah, like, and especially like subtracting Vanessa, that's subtracting like probably his strongest combat unit. That's not Ephraim himself, right?
Yeah. So, what I was thinking for Ephraim is his Chapter 9 is really easy. Like, it's pretty slow paced. There's no thieves trying to get the treasure or anything. So we can we can mass, like, source feed enemies to, like, the weaker combat units and make them potentially strong. But there's a chance we get bad level ups, or there's a chance we just don't get enough levels to really, make someone work. But what I was thinking is we can save some stat boosters to make Tana really good and train her as much as we can in Chapter 9. And then at least we have a strong flyer that's, like, roughly equivalent or even better than Vanessa, at least, to solve that problem.
Yeah, I think so. So I think like moving Vanessa to Erica and then moving. I kind of like the Colm moving everything. Like I do appreciate the door and chest key and prep shop, but I want to see if we can kind of get by without using it.
Okay, why don't we do this then?
That sounds pretty good. I mean, like let's be honest, Gilliam is like such a nothing.
He doesn't matter. He's it's like easy invention of the zero in this thing. Like you can swap him for other things, and then you'll have the exact same value on the other side of the equation.
Yeah, he's a rock that like takes up a deployment slot.
He weighs down your deployment slot, just like it weighs down Seth to set up kills for others. He's a brilliant unit.
True. And hey, look at that. The pairing is intact, right? Look at that.
What?
So
what?
He's still there with Seth. No. Gilliam Seth.
Oh, right. Yeah. For sure. Super important. I guess we can weigh him down now. That's great. So I was like,
yeah, no.
What we can do maybe is, let me see. So Erica has a maximum limit of units she can use, but I don't think she has a minimum. So what we could do is swap Ford or, I don't know who else it'd be besides like Ross down to Ephraim just to give him more people. Because Erica gets like Garrick relatively soon, and Inez, who are both like big contributions, and Marissa, I guess she exists.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you can tower her to what, 10? I think is what your rules were allowing you to do.
Yeah, I didn't make up my mind yet, but at least one tower run should get her, because her base level is 5, right? And the monster alone, the boss, gives like 1 level, so she'll probably reach 10 at the very least.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of actually like keeping Ford in Erica's army just because like. I understand that Erica does have like really privileged combat right now between Seth, Vanessa, and Ardor all in the same army, but I still think Ford, just for the ability to move around and do some rescue drops, is going to be pretty handy, right? Like we don't really have a flunky unit there, and Chapter 9 in particular, like I do like that you bring up Chapter 9 because I think the narrative is that Ephraim route is much harder, but Chapter 9 just demands so much stats and movement compared to like any of the Ephraim route maps.
Yeah,
that I really do think having more stats and more movement in Erica is going to be useful for that map alone. And you gotta remember, like maybe this is in some way like gaming the system, as it were, but we do get all of the items from Ephraim route when we go play Erica route. Yeah. So we do have a little bit more wealth when we go into that route.
You're right. We have like you get some stat boosters in 14 Ephraim or like 13 Ephraim, I think, or like you get some stuff at least.
we get some boosters, we get some gold, we can, you know, get some elixirs, for example, too. That's going to be pretty handy. So like we will have the wealth from Ephraim route when we go into Erica route. You know, I guess you could sit here and debate should we or shouldn't we use that, but come on, like let's just use the ROM as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We should work within the constraints we're given and then try to figure out a strategy, not change the constraints because the strategy that we have is too good or something.
Yeah,
these things are going to come with complications. With that in mind, like I'm trying to find a way to justify like getting F from an extra combat units, but there's just not that many good pre-split combat units to begin with, and like Erica has the best one, and then like I guess this Vanessa is like technically second best one, but that's it. Everyone else is kind of whatever and has an equivalent already on the Ephraim route.
I think the better thing to do with Ephraim route is just to, and we don't have to do this until we start Chapter 9 itself, of course, but just identify who are going to be the training projects. Because as you mentioned, Ephraim Chapter 9 is really slow. You can just kind of troll forward and distribute the EXP to whomever you want. So as long as we distribute EXP wisely, yeah, there's a chance that we get screwed. But, I mean, maybe there's a chance we just choose to put EXP in a really low-level unit, like Tana or like Joshua. And then actually just the sort of law of large numbers means that they should end up getting some pretty reasonable level ups at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's a chance that Tana or Amelia just gets really good level ups. Like I can tower Amelia, I can train her on stupid archer with the priest in Chapter 9 and just get a really good cap out of that potentially. Or Armor Knight, you know, whatever. It's a very even choice. I haven't made up my mind yet, right? But yeah, that exists. Plus, like, Chapter 9 just has like a massive number of enemies that I think are somewhat adequately leveled, so really anyone who could just get like 3 levels there and suddenly become really amazing if they just get like +2 speed, +2 strength out of it.
Oh yeah, no. Like there's a chance to high roll, and I think we should play into that chance to high roll.
Yeah.
So.
And like, stat booster wise, we have I think 1 robe from the early game and the energy ring from Chapter 7, so that alone will make someone like Tana much better if we just dedicate those to her. I think that's kind of it for... Oh, we have a Draco Shield too from Chapter 5, so we really have a lot of stuff to work with there. We could just save that for Ephraim route, honestly.
Yeah, we could. So we still have that in convoy or no?
Yeah, we should. I mean, I can go back to the game because this. I don't know if this is set in stone. We can always go back to it, but I think this is good time to start picking and looking at items and stuff for a second.
Yeah, this seems pretty good. Let's just go ahead and do the inputs.
Yes. Right. So what we can do, I guess, is undeploy everyone. I think there might be an issue with over deploying on Ephraim, but it should be fine because we're sending exactly 8 to Erica right now. So it'd be Seth, Vanessa, Natasha.
Yeah, Natasha was there. Gilliam,
Artur, Ford, and Ross, and
Gilliam.
Yes,
that's right.
Those are the 8 we bring, and then there's these 8 left in here. They would go with Ephraim. And what we could do is like just envoy dump from everyone in Erica route to make sure that everything we need is there. But I guess we should keep Erica the same. Oh, whatever. We get to... does it matter? No, it doesn't matter because we get to Chapter 9 and then everything will be back anyway. I guess,
I kind of forgot to mention, we were talking about like how Erica's getting all the good combat units. We forgot to kind of like mention Erica herself, who's also like pretty good in this run, right?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I have Joshua on the other route, is because I think that way they're like, again, it's more even that way in terms of like who's good at what. So basically Erica people shouldn't carry anything good, which is like why Colm was like, I was like super adamant about having Colm deposit his things in the convoy, because what if I accidentally took like the Elysian Whip to Erica routes, then I wouldn't have access to it with an Ephraim route at all. It would have been kind of disastrous. But yeah, we have a robe, we have a ring, we have a secret book, we have a Draco Shield. So this like set of stats alone can just turn someone into a unit that's better than Vanessa, honestly.
Yeah, it's better than a promo.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's just really good. Okay, so these people are people that we just get to mess around with later, as much as we want. But we should probably like drop this torch for a minute, because we always just buy a new one later on Erica. Like, we'll have the wealth from Ephraim. Ephraim will just send Erica a bunch of money.
Yeah, and like we get the convoy anyway, so even if we send these items to Ephraim and don't need them, we still get them anyway. So like, you know. Yes.
All right. Pretty happy with this, honestly. It doesn't have to be longer than it is right now. So there's something really cool still I got to show with what happens after you pick them.
Oh yeah.
Is there any last minute changes that we should make here? I think it looks pretty good.
Maybe put the hatchet in Ephraim route. I don't know what else.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's good. Iron Axe, Hand Axe, whatever. Like these things, I'm gonna rebuy them if I don't have. I guess the Armor Slayer is good to have as well. Maybe Silver Lance. Yeah, why not? Because
Yeah,
he
who knows
needs it
when
back
we're
later.
gonna
Sure, we
lose
can just
it.
give it to him again.
We'll just give it to him.
Uh-huh.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. We do have to like keep in mind, like, yeah, sure we share wealth, but also I don't think we get another Silver Lance for the entire route for the entire game, basically, until we get to buy
Oh,
them.
true.
So you know,
Yeah, that's like chapter 19.
yeah. So if Seth needs this Silver Lance for chapter 9, we better hoard it on Ephraim route a little bit. But
Is that true? I thought, well, Dusel joins with one in Erica route.
I think Dusel and Ephraim route just has the Silver Axe and a Steel Lance. I think might also be. I don't remember him having a Silver Lance anyway, but either way, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
see
know.
it, we'll see
Yeah,
it.
we'll see. Okay, so he's the Killing Edge. That's like the most important thing for him. Yes. So all right, because let's go. So Ephraim is like, our enemy is well prepared and strong. Who else should I take with me? So if you remember the original, he has like a conversation here. If you go Ephraim route, where Seth comes up to him and he's like, hey, Ephraim, I'm going with you. And Ephraim's like, no, you should go with Erica, protect her. And Seth's like, no, this is what Erica wants. She doesn't want anything to happen to you. Whereas if you go Erica route, Ford and Kyle come up to Erica and they're like, hey, Erica, we're going with you. And Erica's like, no, you should go with Ephraim. You should protect him. And they're like, no, Ephraim wants us to go with you. He wants to make sure nothing happens to you. Well, this is what happens.
I thought it was like, Ephraim's like, nah, he says we suck, so we're going with you.
That's what I made of it. But here, they have like separate convos because they're going with Ephraim. So
They all got like a line. It's cute.
they have a lane, yeah. So Prince Ephraim, Princess Erica sent me to go with you because she doesn't want to take care of me with my bad love-loves.
Yeah,
Let's
no.
go. Let's take back Renee together.
Actually, going to conquer Grotto first.
Yeah.
So,
I feel that it will be needed to serve the flock on our way to Grotto. I pray that this war will end soon. Seems like I've got one more war left in me. My axe is yours, Prince Ephraim, and my bow. Oh wait,
I can help too.
I can help
And
too.
my axe.
Grotto's army is
A lot
bound
of
to have lots of things they don't need. I'll be
We
happy.
can't do the
Can't do the what?
we can't do the double speed wing steel in Erica route. We can't
Yeah.
be funny.
Unfortunately not.
Darn.
I'll be happy to take everything else off their hands, though. You'll need my superior skills if you want to have any hope of defeating Grado. Allow me to accompany you. Well, looks like I won't be going home yet after all. Fate must really have it in for me. So, Joshua is not actually going to be in Jahan. It's probably worth mentioning that the story events have been, as far as I know, unchanged. So, for example, Seth always shows up in conversations in the story. You can't really get rid of those. And for some reason, I think Joshua will end up being in the conversation with Ismare, even though he's technically in Grado somewhere killing something.
Yeah, it's like it. Again, it'd be maybe nice to change that, but I understand it's just so far outside the scope of what the hack is
Yeah.
trying to accomplish, right? That like whatever.
Nah.
Let's not worry about it.
I'm happy with what I've got. Just like Kyle, I'm with you to the end, Prince Ephraim. Let's take down Grado and reclaim our homeland. That's it. That's the squad, which means that next
Without
time...
my bestie Ford.
Yes. Without his bestie
Fort
Ford.
Brickwald.
Yep. So both of them will get the Tower of Volney, by the way, in case you were curious. The little tutorial shows up for both. But they will go their separate ways for now.
Yeah, Kalesh is already grinding in the tower, right? So like,
Yeah,
can't really-
I was like, who? Oh, yeah, him. Yeah. He's totally wrecking everyone right now because I skipped his convo, so he's still doing it. Right. So next time you see us, we'll be on our way to Fort Rigwald to fight Gep and friends, give a bunch of favoritism to Amelia / Tana / everyone else, and it'll be a while before we see Erica, Seth, and the others again. But trust me, they'll be ready for us when we do ask for their help, and hopefully so will you. Raisins, any closing thoughts?
No, I like the army split, and I'm really looking forward to chapter 9.
Right. In that case, we will see you next time. Peace.
See you next time.